To read data from the Firestore, let's add a new call to the Firestore when the component mounts. db.collection, because we're going to reference a collection of suggestions this time rather than a single document in the courses collection like we did last time. Then we use the get method in the same way that we did when we called the title. This will return a promise. So when the data comes back, then we want to handle the promise. So we add a then method, we take a collection, and we create a new constant of suggestions. And we map over the collection. And for each document, we want to pull out the data on that document. We want the value of name on the data for each document. Then, once that's finished, we want to set state with an array of all of the names of our suggestions. Let's create a value in state where we can store this array. When this data comes back, an array with all of the names of our suggestions will populate state. Now that we have the data in state, let's show it in our UI. So let's scroll down to this part, which is here. Let's delete that p tag and replace it with an unordered list. And we want the unordered list to take our suggestions array in state, and we want to map over it. And for each topic or suggestion in the array, we want to show the topic as a list item. Let's save that and refresh the app. So what we get is an error. And the error is saying that it cannot read property map of null. So we have a property suggestions of null, and then we're trying to map over it in our interface here. This.state.suggestions.map. So what we should do is only map over it once the data arrives in state. And we can do this by saying this.state.suggestions. And once that's true, only then map over it. So let's save that and see if it gets rid of the error. And there we have it. There's one more thing that we need to do in React when we render lists of items. Because React is a virtual DOM, it needs to be able to keep track of each of the items. So whenever you have a situation where you're rendering lots of items, to provide the index for each item that's rendered, and you need to give the list item a key of that index. It doesn't have to be the index. If there's a unique value in the data that you're pulling, you can use that as well. In our case, the names are not necessarily unique, so we don't want to use those.